Welcome to Harmony and Improvisation with Doub Pearce, a podcast dedicated to helping musicians of all levels to play better music. Join us in these upcoming episodes as we explore the ins and outs of major diatonic harmony. Visit us at harmonyimprov.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. Partner with us at patreon.com/harmonyimprov. Welcome once again to Harmony and Improvisation. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back. Well, hopefully you've each taken your test 2 or 3 times now for major note sets and you're all good to go. This episode is really just going to kind of touch what I think we pretty much touched on a bit while we were going through the major note sets. But I want to just clarify, maybe with some graphics or with a graphic explanation on screen and recover in this episode, the intervals that are contained within a major note set or major scale. A major scale has 7 different notes, and then the 8th note is the octave from the first note, octave being the interval, the distance between the low C and the higher C. That's an octave, same note, an octave apart. But intervals, what it means is the tonal distance between any 2 notes ascending, meaning going upward, like, for instance, I'm going right here from a G to a C. That's a perfect fourth going up, or the distance between those same 2 notes going down from a G to a C. That's a fifth. And whether you're playing that up or down, that's still a fifth. But my point is, from going from one note, G to C up is a fourth, but going from G to C down is a fifth. That's why they're called perfect fourths and perfect fifths, is because one becomes the other and one becomes the other. So that's the terminology as to why they're called that. The octave is also a perfect interval because when you go from C to C, it's the same, it's an octave, and when you go from C to C, it's an octave. Now, this should be pretty quick because I just want to quickly cover what these intervals are called: ascending in a major scale or note set, or descending in a major scale or note set. Also, to cover, we use the term tritone, semitone, or half step in the first episode and throughout the major note sets. And we're going to talk about how many semitones each interval constitutes. And what I mean by that, as an example, from that G to that C, that's called a perfect fourth. But if I were to play it in semitones, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones. If you're on a piano keyboard, it's the same thing. If you're singing, and again, if you're confident in your ability to move in half steps, you'll be able to replicate that or duplicate that as well. G, A flat, G, A, G, B flat, G, B, G, C. And that's just to show you that these distances and these relationships are the same in any major key. Remember the formula that I gave you for a major scale, which is whole step. Here's your C, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Well, that's kind of what we're doing here with intervals. We're looking at the formula of how many semitones it takes to get from a G to a C, or the interval of a fourth. All right, let's look at it real quickly then. From C to D, if you'll notice on the top, if you're on YouTube, not on a podcast, you'll notice with the graphic. And by the way, all the podcast listeners, I recommend you go to YouTube and do a screen grab and maybe grab some of these graphics off the YouTube thing so that you can have them at your disposal. From C to D is called a major second. That's 2 semitones. In a major scale, from C to E, which is the third, that's called a major third. Do a deer. right? And that is 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones. There's your C. 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones. C to E, or a major third. C to F is a perfect fourth. Here comes the bride. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones. The interval of a perfect fourth. From C to G is the interval of a perfect fifth. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones. The interval from C to A, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, is a major sixth. In other words, the sixth that occurs in a major scale or note set. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 semitones. Major sixth, 9 semitones. Major seven, which is a major, is the 7 that occurs in a major note set, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 semitones. Because there's only 12 notes, right? And so C to C is 12 semitones, or an octave. All right, let's go down. From C to B is what's called a minor second. That's a semitone. Half step. All the same thing. 1 semitone. From C to A is a minor third. And it is 1, 2, 3 semitones. From C to G is a perfect fourth. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones. From C to F is a perfect fifth, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones. So a perfect fifth going up and perfect fifth going down are the same, and it's the same number of semitones between that. It's a distance, it's an interval. So it's got the same distance whether it's going this way or this way. C to E. That's called a minor sixth. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 semitones, minor sixth. From C to D is called a flat 7. Some people call it a diminished 7, but it's not a diminished chord diminished 7. It's just it's the distance of a 7 in a major scale, but flatted 1. For instance, okay, just to explain this, if you look at the D note, from C down to D, if you were to spell the key of D major, it would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. That C sharp would be the major 7, but a C is a flatted 7. Or in a chord, it's a part of a dominant 7. So the C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 semitones. 10 semitones. Because you remember a major 7 is 11 semitones. So the C down to the D is 10 semitones. And then, of course, C to C is still 12 semitones. These relationships are the same in all major keys. This is just an explanation of the intervals that exist in a major scale and how many semitones are between them, and kind of to help you see that it's provable that those relationships are all the same because you can count semitones and find those relationships. Very simple, particularly on a piano, but guitar with your voice, whatever, trombone, violin, makes no difference. Okay, that's it. We'll come back next time and we'll look at a couple of different intervals.